Okay, welcome to night school, everyone. I am Professor Ross, and this is Advocacy Alchemy with Professor Ross. Let's get set up here. I see we are live, so I will drop over and, well, just to give a little bit of an introduction, we are going to be going over 3 different videos today, and the purpose of all of this is to give awareness to anyone who wishes to get involved with the justice system, whether it be being an attorney, being someone who works in a courthouse, someone who works in a correctional facility, someone who works in a local police department, or just a member of the public who has a interest in what happens in the legal world. So with that, we will go through these 3 videos, and we do have a live chat, so you can drop some messages in the chat and we'll go over them. With that, let's get started here. All right, this first one is titled How to Get a $150,000 bond. Now, we will pause as we go through these videos, and we'll bring up what the potential law is in this area, and we'll review what the law says. We'll review what a small synopsis of what the law is in this area, and we'll do some, minor discussions going back and forth, things of that nature. All right, let's see what happens in this first video.
Officers were called to the scene of a rollover traffic crash. The driver who caused this mess, Joshua, is about to make things a lot worse by racking up a bond of $150,000. And see a second case of a woman at an airport who also makes things much worse for herself.
How you doing, sir? You should stop right there. Don't stop.
All right, so as you can see, the video starts off with this person, Joshua, running from the police on foot. The officer got out of his car and he said, sir, I need you to stop right there. And obviously he's not stopped if he's running right now. Now, as you heard, they were called to the scene of a rollover accident, and his car is the one that rolled. So potentially this person could be in shock. I will say that after watching this segment, he potentially could have been in shock. If anyone's ever had a bad wreck before, you can be disoriented after you have a wreck. All right, so let's see what happens. And also, let's see, before we get back and start the video back up, let's take a look at, I think this is in Florida. From police officer and leaving the scene of accident causing injury. All right, let's talk about this. Now, in Florida, I think this is where this case is from, and let me see if I can scroll down and get a description. It doesn't tell us where this is from, but I believe I saw somewhere this may be in Florida. Could be wrong, because it's from Midwest Safety. I want to give them their credit. They have compiled this body cam footage, and they put it together in a nice compact form where anyone can go watch, and I would encourage you to go watch the videos that we talk about and better understand what potentially could happen if you were in a situation like this. Okay, I wouldn't hope for anyone to have any police interactions, but potentially everyone might. All right, so looking at this penalty in the state of Florida, fleeing an accident. All right, it says in Florida, fleeing from the police and leaving the scene of an accident causing injury are serious offenses with severe penalties. It says when you leave the scene of an accident, property damage. Leaving the scene of an accident that only results in property damage is a second-degree misdemeanor with penalties of up to 60 days in jail and a fine of up to $500 and a potential driver's license suspension. All right, so that's with just property damage. Now, if someone was actually injured, a person, you look down at this one, it says bodily injury. And once again, we're just using a search function. We put in the term here we're looking for. This is my search. Florida fleeing from police officer and leaving the scene of an accident with injury. That's why it has these dots. It's too many words to fit in here. But you can plug that same thing into Google and you will begin to find this very same information. It's just compiled here in one place. We have our links, our citations back to different websites that define this. And we can also find out, we have criminal jury instructions we can go back and take a look at. The actual statute itself. Let's see. All right, so going back to this, let's take a look. If the accident involves bodily injury, leaving the scene is a third-degree felony. All right, so that's probably their lowest level, and we'll take a look here in a second and see what exactly are the levels of felonies and misdemeanors in Florida. All right, well, let's pull it up. We're finished reading this up. If it involves bodily injury, leaving the scene is a third-degree felony. Penalties include up to 5 years in prison, so that's fairly serious. A fine of up to $5,000 and the mandatory revocation of the driver's license. Ooh, so you automatically lose your driver's license if you get one of these offenses. If you get convicted for one of these offenses. So also, this is a proper time to talk about, when we watch these videos, they're for educational purposes so that we can stop and talk about the intersection and the nexus between these laws that are out here and what we're actually viewing and seeing, okay? Now, for any state to bring any of these charges you hear about, either that I talk about or that are shown to you at the end of these videos, the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that a person in fact did these things, okay? That's the highest burden we have in the American justice system, okay? It's not an easy burden, but sometimes, as you can see, watching, and a jury will see many of these same things you're seeing when we go over different videos, except they'll see them unredacted. Anytime you see a blurry portion on the screen, follow my mouse here. I'm highlighting around the person here running. Sometimes you'll see things that'll be blurred out. The jury sees those things unblurred, okay? So people will watch some of these body cam footages again. They'll be seeing the same things you see, and they'll be dealing with a set of jury instructions, and they'll be trying to make a nexus between what they saw and what this jury instruction says the law is for this event, for this crime that the state is charging. All right, so let's go and let's see fleeing and eluding a police officer, basic offense. All right, to flee or elude a police officer is a felony offense. The penalty is a mandatory adjudication of guilt and the mandatory driver's license suspension, ranging from 1 to 5 years. All right, so you can get your driver's license suspended for a long time. So if you're in a driving field and you receive one of these charges in the state of Florida, that's bad news. All right, aggravated fleeing. If the fleeing results in serious bodily injury or death, it's classified as aggravated fleeing, a first-degree felony. Penalty can range up to 30 years in prison and the mandatory minimum sentence of 3 years. Whew. All right, so those penalties get quite stiff. All right, let's talk about the levels of felonies and misdemeanors in the state of Florida. All right, so misdemeanors, all right, you see they have first degree and second degree. All right, the smaller the number, the more the punishment is. Okay, so second degree is less of a punishment than first degree. All right, so we'll read about them in this order, in a reverse order. Second degree misdemeanors have a penalty of 60 days, up to 60 days in jail, a fine of up to $500, and or 6 months of probation. All right. First degree misdemeanors are up to 1 year in jail, a fine of up to $1,000, and or probation up to 12 months probation. Your felonies, they have been listed in least to highest order. Third degree felonies, up to 5 years in prison, fine of up to $5,000, and or 5 years of probation. All right. Your second degree felonies, that's up to 15 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000 and or 15 years of probation. First degree felonies, up to 30 years in prison, a fine of up to $10,000 and or 30 years on probation. Now, probation, 30 years on probation is unbelievable, okay? The longer a person has to serve a sentence on probation, the higher the likelihood that person will be going to the Department of Correction. Wherever state you're in, it doesn't matter. And the reason is because you're asking a person who's already in court to go a long period of time and not have any more instances of coming back to court for anything. Talking about misdemeanors or felonies. All right, so that's a big ask. All right, so let's jump back in. Let's see what's happening with this video.
Stop running. He's running. Hey, get on the ground right now. Get on the ground. You're going to get tased. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now. Get on the ground. You're going to get tased. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Now. On the ground, you're gonna get tased. Get up, bro. You're gonna get tasting.
Now, I always talk about, I see these videos quite often, all right, in my free time, and also we're talking about in real life. When a person fails to follow the lawful orders of an officer, all right, you are asking to be handled roughly, okay? And no one likes to think about it like that, but the key thing with this education of everyone seeing this type of footage is what not to do, okay? Don't run, okay? Listen to what the order is and follow the order. All right. one thing you'll always notice with a lot of these different footages, people will many times, and this person, I don't believe it's going to happen in this video, but in the others you'll see, people want to argue their case in the street. That's the worst place in the world to try to argue your case, is in the street. All right? You make it home to where you can hire an attorney and then you argue your case in court. All right? Because the officers are not attorneys. They're just there to simply assess the situation and bring about a quick solution. If it means somebody's getting arrested, then that's what's going to happen. Many times, if they're there to arrest someone, then there's not going to be any talking your way out of it. All right? If they see a crime has been committed, or what they think is a crime has been committed, then there's probably going to be an arrest. All right? We'll talk about bond situations and things like that definitely before we end this video. And we're only going to watch this first video. This is a 2-video segment from Midwest Safety. We'll watch the first segment, then we'll move on to a different video altogether. Okay? All right, so with that, let's see what else is going to go on with Mr. Joshua here.
On your stomach. You're under arrest. Stop resisting. You are under arrest. Stop! You're gonna get paid!
We got a call that the male black suspect is fighting with the police.
Yeah. Stop it. It's racist for shit. I'm glad. Stop! Oh, he's fighting me! Ah! Look out! He's fighting me! He's fighting me! Taser! Move! Taser! Taser! Ah! He's still fighting! Still fighting! Ah! You believe? You better believe, motherfucker! Taser deployed.
Okay, so you see this young man was tasered twice. All right, you see that he will receive a higher charge for biting this officer here on the arm. And I think some other officers are going to have some bumps and scrapes and things of that nature. But once again, I will say that we will be able to assess, maybe as we see the end. I don't know if they're going to go back to the actual scene, but that truck that he came out of and he's running from and now has the shirt off, rolled completely over and was crushed. So, benefit of the doubt, he might be disoriented, and listen to how he sounds. So either he's disoriented, or as they charge him later, he is under the influence of something.
Twice. Put him in cuffs. Put him in cuffs. Hey, let go of the taser. Let go of the taser. No, put him in cuffs. We understand. Let go of the taser. You have me. Oh, fighting people, dude.
Okay, let's talk about in the state of Florida, the penalty of disobeying police orders. All right, in Florida, failing to follow a lawful order given by a police officer is a serious offense. It says under the Florida statute, this is where you actually would find this law right here. Okay, 316.072 parentheses 3 means the third paragraph once you get to that law. And it's a second-degree misdemeanor to willfully fail or refuse to comply with any lawful order or direction of a law enforcement officer. This includes orders given by police officers, traffic crash investigators, traffic infraction enforcement officers. That's what these officers are here in this video. Or members of the fire department at the scene of an emergency. And these could also be considered just police officers too, okay? All right, so a second-degree misdemeanor, up to 60 days in jail, a fine of up to $500. All right, some of the examples of this noncompliance is refusing to stop when signaled, refusing to provide your name and address when asked by an officer. Remember this one, okay? Because a lot of times we talk about these people who are trying to use the sort of sovereign citizen lingo and language, and they don't want to give their name or address when asked. Now, that's important because in some states, you're not required to give your identification card when asked, but you are required to do this: give your name and address if asked. And there's a additional onus to not tell a lie with whatever name you are giving. All right, let's keep moving. Refusing to give the officer your license and registration. Refusing to sign a traffic citation. All right. Okay, let's jump back in the video. Let's see. Oh no, let's look at this. Battery on police officer. All right, biting. And I'm thinking about when he bit this police officer here a few minutes ago. They're going to talk about that several times throughout this video. All right, battery on a police officer is a serious offense in Florida. Has severe penalties. Battery on a police officer occurs when someone intentionally touches or strikes a law enforcement officer against their will and causes bodily harm while the officer is performing their duties. This is a third-degree felony. All right. Remember, our third-degree felonies are up to 5 years in prison, a fine of up to $5,000, or you can go on probation for up to 5 years. All right. That's not small time. You know, think about how the world has changed in just 5 years, and how, if you have a family, how old people get in just 5 years. All right. Aggravated battery. Now, this is usually when you see the word aggravated in a charge, and this is pretty uniform, that means it's an enhanced charge, either because the person has a weapon, and more specifically, many times, aggravated is used to mean someone had a gun or some sort of deadly weapon that can cause massive or serious injuries. All right, first-degree felony. All right, aggravated battery is a first-degree felony. Remember, that's the one up to 30 years in prison, with a mandatory minimum of 5 years. Oof. All right, that means you're not going anywhere until them 5 years are up. All right, this is when you cause great bodily harm, permanent disability, or disfigurement, or involves a deadly weapon. It's a first-degree felony. All right, they have elements here. All right, to cause battery on a law enforcement officer, the state must prove intentional contact, knowledge of the victim's status, and official duty. All right, these read: the defendant intentionally touched or struck the officer against their will or caused bodily harm. All right, so we had some kind of bite that happened on the arm of one person. Knowledge of the victim's status. The defendant knew the victim was a law enforcement officer. Well, that's pretty obvious. He was assisting the other officer. He had on a bulletproof vest and a pistol. A reasonable person would believe that person is a officer. Official duty. All right. The officer was performing their lawful duties during the battery, so he was actually performing his work at the time when he was bitten by this person. All right, so self-defense is the common defense. The officer used excessive force, and the defendant may claim self-defense. All right, they were using too much force. That argument is they were using too much force, therefore I had to defend myself in some way or fashion, and I happened to bite this officer on the arm. All right. Could be fleshed out. It could be a good defense. The officer was not engaged in lawful duty, lack of knowledge, incidental touching. I just happened to be throwing my arm that way, and as I threw my arm that way, it hit someone. All right, that's what that one means. All right, let's jump back in.
Put him in cuffs! We're doing the taser! Stop doing the taser! Put your hands behind your back. I got one hand. Get the other hand out. I got the right hand. Behind your back. On your stomach. We're good. We're good. Put your hand behind your back. Put your left hand behind your back.
He ain't going nowhere. Someone start working on this side and get his left hand.
I got it. You stand the taser. Someone else can do it. It's disconnected anyway. I need more. That's fine. We don't need more. It's under control.
All right, so you hear that there's I believe this is a supervisor here who came in and he said, we don't need more, he's under control. All right, so he was not one of the initial officers probably in this thing, because everybody else, as you hear, is breathing hard. The adrenaline is very high, and that's what makes all these types of situations so dangerous, okay? Because when people's adrenaline is high, you're in fight or flight mode. And usually we request of our police officers to be in fight mode and not flight. So fight as in F-I-G-H-T versus fleeing and running away. We don't want police officers to do that usually. All right, so that's the balance beam here that we're talking about. All right. So let's hear what happens next.
Pull the left hand out. Go around. Go. It's all right. Hey, it's okay. It's all right.
Arrest. You didn't know that already. Got an ambulance coming? No.
We've got. Is he under arrest? Yeah. We got him.
That is real.
One in custody.
That is real. Hey, boy, you better play me, huh?
Shut up.
Hey, stop.
Check in your pockets. You're fine.
Okay, you see, he was having none of that, none of that kind of stuff. But you heard him say something that seemed a bit off. He made a statement, God is real. Okay? It doesn't seem to be a proper place for that statement here in this situation. So I think that's going to sort of make everyone start thinking that something else may be afoot here. And they're going to ask him in a minute, do you have any injuries? And they're going to try to find out based on where he ran from.
Put him out before we go do this. Stop. It's over.
Why are you still trying to go, bro?
That's why I don't want to get him up.
Okay, you'll get it.
No. You're going to get an ambulance, okay?
But it's over. It's not moving, okay? No? You ain't gonna start moving? No. Why? I can't breathe! Okay, I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
Well, then quit moving your arms so we can pick you up to your chest.
Help! I can't breathe!
You're fine. You're talking. I can hear you breathing.
What's going on?
Stay down. Don't move. You ran from the scene of a crash, and you've been tasered once and punched in the face.
Okay, so you begin to hear the disorientation of the other person. So what's going on? And they're trying to explain to him what's going on, and it's going to be a little bit more of this too. This one leads me to believe that he might be disoriented definitely from the crash, and while the crash may be definitely he might be responsible for the crash, the way he acted afterward may not be what his intentions were, okay? So he might be safe there. But let's continue to watch and let's see what else is going to happen here.
They shot me.
didn't get shot. You got shot with a taser.
He shot me. He shot me.
No one taser.
Sir, he shot me.
Are you under the influence of something?
No, I promise you. They shot me.
Just stay like this. The ambulance is coming. You're not shot.
Driver, you
Let me out.
for 1041.
Let me out.
Hey, can you get mine? Don't do anything stupid.
I'm not, but you shouldn't do this.
You're in custody. You're under arrest.
It's not over.
Fleeing the scene of an accident. Resisting and aggravating to officers. I guess I'll be double locking those again.
Dude, cut it out.
Okay, so you hear the charges. They're going to be fleeing the scene of an accident, resisting arrest, and assault on officer. All right, so let's see which ones we don't have. Did we have fleeing the scene? We had that way up here. Fleeing the scene of an accident. Remember, we said that's up to 60 days in jail. He might be looking at this third-degree felony one, okay? And then also they're going to tack on the resisting. Resisting arrest. All right, resisting arrest without violence is a first-degree misdemeanor. They can go to jail up to 1 year upon conviction, and you can be fined up to $1,000 and/or 12 months probation. All right, and just as a side, for anyone who's currently not involved in the legal system, when you hear somebody say this portion, 12 months probation, that means community supervision. Okay, so that means that person will be allowed to remain not incarcerated, but they have to be supervised by probation officers. And these probation officers usually work for the Department of Correction. All right, they simply are supervising a convict, a person who's been convicted of a felony. And as long as they are complying with the rules that have been set out, they won't have to be incarcerated. All right, resisting arrest with violence. This is a third-degree felony, up to 5 years in prison, a fine of up to $5,000. So we're looking at 2 felonies here already, and/or 5 years of probation. And then the battery on the officer too. So that's probably 3 felonies we're looking at.
Cut it out.
He's still resisting, but he bit me and he hung out for a long time.
All right, so you're gonna need to go.
Yeah.
All right. He's still resisting. He's bit.
He bit, latched on, and man, and burning and hurting.
Yeah, so that's all yours.
Yeah, that's all him latching on when I was trying to cuff him.
You want to go to the hospital?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All the blood in his mouth.
He's tasered twice, so he's gonna need an ambulance to go.
Got it. So we're calling some ambulance. Just keep going.
For now.
All right.
Hey, did you have eyes on the whole time, or did he throw something?
Dude, so
They're coming from JR, so.
From what?
JR shooting.
All right. Are you guys good here? All right. Let me brief them real quick. We hear about the rollover. Me and Juan start coming this way. We see a male black running. We're like, oh, that is he?
Okay. All right. So he's explaining what happened. He said he came to the scene of a rollover and he saw a black male close by, and then he began to run. All right. Take a look here, where I'm pointing with this cursor on the screen. All right, this tells us this body camera he's wearing, the type. This is Axon Body 3. Now, this is the sign. Wherever you're watching one of these and you see this sign, that means it's from this company. All right. This is a well-known body cam company. There's about maybe 3 or 4 different companies that are very well known. I think this may be the most used throughout the country for police departments. This is the type that's used in my jurisdiction, and most of the police departments here are using this type. Now, the 3 tells what model. There's, I think they're on number 4 now, the most recent model. These camera units are not cheap, okay? This is the unit here. Oh no, this is the unit here on his. Maybe it has on 2. I can't really see very good. But I think it's right here. It's right here. Here it is, right here underneath that badge. All right, but usually you look at this, the 4 last, to find out what unit is using these. These change throughout the video. Sometimes you'll see something different up here. Sometimes you'll see Axon Fleet, which means a dash cam inside of a car. But make sure you pay attention to those, because that tells you what officer's video that we're watching at that point in time. You see they keep the time and date. All right, that tells you this has happened at 2:41 in the afternoon. All right, and -5, so that means that this is on the East Coast somewhere. Once again, we said Florida, so that makes sense. This is April 27th of last year, 23. All right, let's get back to it.
He's on a jog, he's shirtless. Then we hear the suspects running. We U-turn on him. We get out. He starts running from Juan. We run this way across the street. He's like, I'm God. He's like, give me your gun. Starts looking at me. We kind of corner him, circle him. He starts like pulling away, resisting. He bites Juan, like latches onto his forearm, so we all get away. I tase him, doesn't do anything. Tase him again a second time. He locks up, trying to get him under control.
Everything's closed, right?
I end up doing like another, like while I'm latched onto him, another, because that's the only time we could get him under control. We tried to get him under control under power. I mean, that was it. Everybody started showing up, but apparently he's coming from like a shooting range or something. We're going to go backtrack this way. All right? He's tased twice. Juan's bit on the forearm.
5 seconds.
I shot one, shot the second one. He locked up, and then he was still fighting. So while I was on it, I pulled the trigger again to re-engage it because they were still fighting. Correct.
All right. You good?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
I just
Take a breath.
No, I just want to go find whatever he threw. He's high on something. We don't know. We're gonna go backtrack. As long as you guys don't need me here, and are good for the backtrack.
From a gun range?
Julio, he just said something about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, all right. If you need me, hit me.
How bad were you hurt in the crash? How were you hurt in the crash? Yeah, crash. Where? In your car crash.
Okay, I will say that notice how I believe that the reason why they're having this sort of response right now with this individual, making sure he gets some water, things of that nature, and that usually does not happen at the scene of an accident. Usually water is not administered to a defendant. I think they are realizing that he probably is in shock, not not trying to be funny at all, talking about being in shock from being tased, in shock from the rollover of that accident, and that he might not have been aware of what's happening at that point in time.
We got to be checked out by the
Hey
paramedic.
Josh, what's your last name?
Joshua.
Yep.
Joshua.
Okay, so you saw those stars they put up there after he said his first name, Joshua. All right, that's redacted at this point in time. Okay, now if this goes to a jury trial, they'll hear a fully unredacted tape. All right, the prosecutor's office will put together a tape of all these different body cams, and it will be completely unredacted. All the cuss words, all of everything. The other people walking by, everything.
I'm sorry, we just chased this guy. I'm a little out of breath. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. Okay, sounds good.
Charlie, you have to come and take over traffic.
In case you wanted to know, this woman just advised me not to spit.
Mom!
So you see that the officers not only trying to deal with the scene, they also got to deal with the bystanders, people who are not involved but just onlookers, members of the public trying to see what's going on. All All right, the woman had told him don't spit. I guess he spit on the ground there and not in the grass. And she said, spit in the grass if you're going to spit. So you deal with all types of people sometimes.
My recollection right now, he ended up getting punched because he was still like going at people. Yeah, I mean, even with
battery charges. Against
he bit Juan for sure. He didn't really bet. It was maybe an assault, just telling me he's God and he's gonna do this and do that. But I mean, no, it's fine.
We're gonna get him. Somebody out there, still his back. Right? Well, the paramedics. You want us to pick you up? Yeah, pick you up. All right. 1, 2, 3. The yellow table.
Josh, paramedics. Remember, we were talking.
It's okay. We're
You're
gonna
going to the hospital. All right.
What's her name?
Sarah.
I'm happy.
Sarah!
Sir, help me, sir. No, hey, sir, ain't fucking my boy. I'm not fucking cool. Sir, help me.
Stop, stop. Go to the hospital.
No, sir. Please get off of. Please get off of me, help me, sir.
1, 2, 3.
Sarah, please.
Josh, focus. I'm helping you. I'm getting you out of here to go see a doctor.
Just wait to get off.
Right?
Just sit down and relax.
Sarah! No, sir. Sarah, please, no!
So Juan jumps out, me and him start running. We run from down there, we run across the street, we play Frogger across Ogden, and during the dog pile, I look up, he's got Juan's skin in his mouth, and he's just biting the shit out of him. So I'm like, hey, everybody clear, they all get off of him, I tase him, it doesn't really do much. So he starts, I think he might have got Febreze at some point on the hand, so we back up again, I tase him again, he hits him right in the back, he locks up, at this point everybody else is getting there, and then we're trying to get him under control. My taser tased me up the arm, it tased Matt a bunch. It was not. He yelled at me to stop tasing because I was saying put him under restraint.
Okay, so you notice that he's giving the full rundown, and this person has stripes on their arm. That means this person has some sort of rank. This may be probably a captain or a major or whatever their ranking system is. He is definitely the supervisor on the scene now. He's the one that needs a full rundown of what happened, and he's also been asking them, are their body cameras charged and running? All right, because he knows there's probably going to be a request behind this and maybe some sort of investigation, since the one of the soft tactics were used, or intermediate force was used in this situation. And we had pulled up over here while it was going, just the different techniques for police control, for police to control arrestees. And we see down here intermediate weapons, tools like batons, pepper sprays, and tasers. So we know that intermediate force was used, and that's one step down from lethal force, which means the actual pistol. So this is a fairly high level incident. All right, let's get back to it.
Or put him in cuffs while under power, and he's trying to tell me he's getting tased, and it was just kind of a mess. But they took Juan already.
Juan's going to the hospital?
I think it was a deep bite. It was a deep bite.
Let's have somebody take somebody got their work camera.
Hey, you got something right here. That's all.
Well, do you need
No, right there.
Did you get bit?
No, it's just
From the fight.
Joshua was charged for a hit and run, driving while license suspended, improper lane use, aggravated DUI, and 2 counts of aggravated battery to a peace officer. His bond amount was set at $150,000.
If you're looking for a way to make $150,000.
All right. Okay, so we get a sort of rundown of what happened with this case. just looking at some of this. All right, they say he was under the influence of a substance. 2 counts of aggravated battery to a police peace officer. He's also charged with disorderly conduct. All right, let's see what that disorderly conduct charge carries. All right, so we'll finish up with this one in just a second. We'll move on to the next one. Once again, shout out to Midwest Safety for compiling for requesting the body cam footage and compiling them together into a short video. Disorderly conduct. All right, so our search, we're still looking, and we're concerned with having it what the law is in Florida. So let's make sure Florida law for disorderly conduct. All right, and it starts off and it gives us the statute. So the statute in Florida is 877.03. In Florida, disorderly conduct is defined under that statute, and it actually describes what disorderly conduct, also known as breach of the peace. All right, and it says it's any act that corrupts public morals, outrages the sense of public decency, affects the peace and quiet of persons who may witness them, engages in brawling or fighting, or constitutes a breach of the peace or disorderly conduct. All right, you can get up to 60 days in jail, or up to 6 months in prison. Or up to 6 months of probation, or fine them $500. All right, I'm pretty sure disorderly conduct, after you get so many, they probably increase the punishment too. All right, and let's look back at what else do we have there. All right, so it says bond at $150,000, DuPage County. Let's find out if DuPage is actually in Florida, if we were correct here. Where is DuPage County? Oh, actually he's in Illinois. DuPage County, Illinois. All right, the county is bordered by Cook County also. So this is right next to Chicago. Makes sense. This is Midwest Safety, so they'll probably be having videos mostly from Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan. All right, so DuPage County is in Illinois. Let's rerun our law searches according to there. Let's see what the charges are. Hit and run. All right, so in Illinois, hit and run. All right. If involved in an accident causing injury, death, or property damage, you must stop immediately at the scene or close by, provide your name, address, registration number, and driver's license to others involved, and assist any injured persons. That's an interesting element here, that you must assist, or you could be found guilty of a hit and run. Leaving the scene of accident causing only property damage is a Class A misdemeanor. That's up to 1 year in jail, fine up to $2,500. If damage exceeds $1,000, your driver's license may be suspended. Injury or death, leaving the scene of accident causing injury or death is a Class 4 felony. Penalties include 1 to 3 years in prison, a fine of up to $25,000, and license revocation. Means your license will be revoked. You won't have a license at that point. If the accident results in death, it's a Class 2 felony, so it jumps up 2 levels, and you will get 3 to 7 years in prison. You must report the accident to the police if it results in death, injury, or property damage over $1,500. Failure to report within 10 days can lead to fines and license suspension. Okay. All right, let's see. Aggravated DUI. All right, aggravated DUI is found in the Illinois statutes 625 ILCS 5. I think that's a / 11-501 from the Illinois General Assembly. We can always hit this link and it will take us right there to the actual law and what it looks like. All right, but it says the key points of aggravated DUI. All right, the definition. An aggravated DUI occurs when a person drives under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or intoxicating compounds, has a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08% or more, or is under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or intoxicating compounds to a degree that renders them incapable of driving safely. All right, if you roll your car over, you're probably going to be found to not be able to capably drive safely. Aggravating factors: prior convictions, having a high blood alcohol content, injury or death, if you got minor passengers in the car, school buses, revoked licenses, and no insurance are all aggravating factors that can elevate a DUI to an aggravated DUI. Okay? Penalties. All right, you see the different penalties here. They go from class 4 all the way up to class X. I guess it depends on, how serious the crime was or how many people were injured and things of that nature. Let's look at aggravated battery on a peace officer. I bet the class 2 means it was enhanced for some reason, and that's probably for the biting. Class 2 felony. It says aggravated battery in a class 2 felony when the person knows the individual harmed to be a police officer, engaged in the execution of their official duties, or the battery is to prevent the officer from performing their duties, or in retaliation of the officer performing their duties. All right, this is a class 2 felony carrying a sentence between 3 and 7 years in prison and can possibly be extended to 7 to 14 years and a fine of up to $25,000. This can even be elevated up to level 1 for the type of injury the officer receives. This is found at 720 ILCS 5/12-3.05. All right. Once again, you can find you can pull back the same sort of result of information by typing in this search I had, aggravated battery on peace officer class 2, and you would need to put Illinois, or IL for short, and Google will pull you the same information. Yahoo will pull the same information. Any search engine will pull back the same information. Okay? All right, so with that, that's the first video. Let's move on to our next one. And we have 3 scheduled for tonight. And we've been going for about 53 minutes here. That's okay. Let's see. And just so you know, I find and talk about videos of everyone, because in the justice system, everyone may appear in front of a judge or might need to see a lawyer. So it's not just videos we'll view from, black people getting arrested or white people getting arrested or just men. It will be men, women of every race, every age, okay? Because that's how the justice system is. It deals with everyone. And that's why when you see statues of justice, she has a blindfold on. These laws are out here and they're supposed to be applied equally to everyone. That's why it's important to know how to find the laws and view them. Because that's one thing I learned about in law school is that, after you finish up that first year of law school, you really think about the world differently. You realize that everything and every action that people take out here is codified in a book somewhere for wherever you're at, and you're either allowed to do something or not really allowed to do something. Now, there's many areas where the law has not been set yet, and there's this sort of a gray area. But once too much attention is called to anything, there will be a law that follows shortly thereafter. All right, this one we're going to move into next is a law student gets fired and makes things a lot worse. This one's a little bit shorter. It's only 12 minutes. But, hey, once again, the key thing to take away from this one, this is a trespass case. But the key thing to take away is that the street is never the proper place to argue your case. When you're in a confrontation with law enforcement officers, right then is not the time to argue about what right you think you may have. Then is the time only to listen to what orders are being given and to calm yourself down enough to make sure that you can comply and not have anything negative happen to you and that you can make it home safely. All right? Let's listen.
Are you touching me? No, this isn't protecting.
Just 1 second,
Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm in law school. I wanted to leave. I tried to leave. They wouldn't let me.
On February 20, 2022, Fort Myers, Florida police are called to...
Okay, so we know we're in Fort Myers, Florida. And maybe that's why I got mixed up thinking we were in Florida on the first case, but really it's the second one. All right, but I know we're going to be talking about trespass. Trespass in Florida law. All right, Florida trespassing laws and their penalties. All right, I'm going to let this run, and once we get down to some nitty-gritty, we'll talk about this Florida statute and where it's found.
Victory Lane Chevrolet, where an employee has shown up for work intoxicated and refuses to leave.
Ma'am, how are you? We got a call from you guys?
Who called you?
Manager from the back room or something? Employee causing a scene?
Let me reach Justin Wilson. He's
Okay. What's going on, boss?
Follow me, buddy.
Where's she at?
She's downstairs.
So what's the background, sir?
So she was on the phone, and one of my other employees downstairs heard the person that she was on the phone with, and he stopped drinking while on the job.
Okay.
So
Did she get terminated?
All right. Here's one for everyone. All right. When we're talking about trespass, all right, that usually means that someone has broken the rules where they're at. Now we see that from the title of this video, she's going to get fired. And then from that point, if she remains on the property after she's been told to leave, you can be trespassed. All right, let's look in Florida. What does trespass mean? Well, it means this. In Florida, trespassing is defined under Chapter 810 of the Florida statutes. There are two main types of trespassing offenses: trespassing in structures or conveyance. All right, we see that one's found here at 810.08. It says this is when you trespass in a structure or conveyance. You willfully enter or remain in any structure or conveyance without authorization, permission. That's what we're talking about when we talk about authorization. Do you have permission to be where you are? And if your permission is revoked, then you no longer can be present there. Okay? Or refusing to leave after being warned by the owner or lessee. Penalties. This is a second-degree misdemeanor usually. It can carry up to 60 days in jail, a fine of up to $500. The first-degree misdemeanor. If someone is present in the structure or conveyance, that can be up to 1 year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. Third-degree felony. If the offender is armed with a firearm or dangerous weapon, it will be considered a third-degree felony, and the punishment is 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $5,000. Now, if we want to look these up, we can simply go to one of these sites like Justice Law. We hit that link, and it brings us to what the statute actually looks like. This is what a statute looks like. You know, this is what lawyers spend all their time looking at. They look at these and they read cases to talk about these laws. Okay? So 810.08, trespass in a structure. And it reads like this. 1. Whoever, without being authorized, licensed, or invited, willfully enters or remains in any structure or conveyance, or having been authorized, licensed, or invited, is warned by the owner or lessee of the premises, or by a person authorized by the owner or lessee to depart and refuses to do so, commits the offense of trespass in a structure or conveyance. So we're reading the same thing. We just have sort of a short version of it. But when you're talking about trying to understand what the law says, you have to come back and read this. And the reason is because this sometime can have a bit of a different meaning than once you have some summarized version. All right, you may miss something, and also there may be a single term here, a single word that did not get summarized. Reasonable. This word here is important. Not saying this is the term that was not talked about, but if you're missing something like a term like this, it can change the whole idea of what this whole statement is. Okay? All right, let's jump back in. All right, trespass on property other than structures or conveyances. All right, this sounds like this is probably on land, when you're trespassing on someone's land. All right, let's jump back in the video.
Or something? Yeah, we just terminated her today, like literally before this whole situation.
And what is she doing here?
She's not leaving. So we just terminated her like probably 10 minutes before I called you guys. And she's refusing to leave.
Okay. Are you her direct supervisor?
Yeah, I'm the manager. And I'm the owner here as well.
Okay. Where is she at now?
She's down here.
Yeah.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Hi.
You doing okay?
Yeah, hi. What's your name?
I am Officer Carfoni from Mice Police.
Hi. How may I help you?
No, how may I help you? What's going on?
Nothing. I'm just trying to figure this out.
Figure what out?
This.
What's your name is?
Nelina Tierra?
Melina?
Nailene.
Nailene? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea why I'm here?
No clue. Just
Would you like to know what I'm here for?
that's your problem.
Okay, so obviously she's either intoxicated or there's some issue. Something's wrong. All right, I think he's going to find some alcohol right here, right in her purse, and her mother is going to try to explain what sort of the situation may be that her daughter is dealing with. Let's listen.
Okay. Well, I know what I'm here for. That might be your problem, actually. That might be a business of yours.
Good see.
Hey, miss? Ma'am? Hey, can you I have a partner of mine coming. No, just so if you can just phone them and let them know, guide them through back here. Yeah.
Backup arrives to assist with the suspect.
I believe they asked you to leave, and you're not leaving.
I am.
Okay, when is your ride coming here?
Oh, cuando mi mamá me dice que va a venir.
My partner doesn't speak Spanish. Okay?
Your partner doesn't speak Spanish,
No.
correct? So that means I had to physically speak.
Did you guys officially ask her to leave the property?
Yes, we did. And then her mom was on the phone after I
Yeah,
told
my
her
mom
to
said that
leave.
she was on the way.
Her mom said she's not coming to pick her
Let her
up.
No,
ask her to leave
no.
the property.
Let me
You
put
need
my
to-
mom on speaker.
You need to leave the dealership now, please.
Okay, so ma'am, let me.
Okay, so this one is a good learning video for everyone who is either studying to be a lawyer or who has an interest in law, because this type of situation happens quite often. Now, it might not happen often in any particular business on a daily basis or anything, but overall, when you have people that have to be asked to leave a premises, whether they're getting rowdy or they're talking disrespectfully to the workers who work in an establishment. All right? But here, she's been fired because she's drunk at work. All right? Or drinking on the job. All right? So they have a right to fire a person. I don't know if Florida is an at-will state, but that's clearly in violation of something to be drinking alcohol while at work.
Okay, so the phone.
You can hang up the phone too.
Okay, so I asked my mom to come on the way.
Your mother told me she's not picking you up.
So what's my mom's name?
I don't know. She was on the phone.
Okay, so that
And
means
she doesn't speak very good English.
Okay, so that means that you don't know my mom's name. So that means I have to get my mom.
But I just asked you to leave.
Do you have a vehicle here?
No, I
Okay,
don't believe
it's
so.
time to
She
go.
drives, but I
We're
believe
telling you need to leave. You're gonna be
So I
trespassed.
can't call my mom and ask her.
You
to
don't.
pick
They
me
don't
up?
want you to use their phones. Okay.
So I can't ask my mom to come pick me up.
You can use your phone, not mine.
You have a phone.
Lo que dolía, lo que no es. Mommy, this is my mom. Hi, Mom. So tengo la policía aquí diciendo que yo necesito irme de los premises, que yo necesito alguien que me recoja.
All right, so apparently, definitely don't have any subtitles that have translated over what she's saying in Spanish. And my Spanish is not good enough to just try to translate her perfectly. But she started off saying, I'm here with the police. And she said, I have the police with me right now. And she's sort of going back over with her mother what's happening right now. I think her mother's going to try to speak to one of the officers. She's going to speak back in Spanish. And she might speak a little bit of English too.
Porque
Won't
es
be
una
long.
gringa aquí fea, tú sabes, ya de pingar.
You don't want to do it
Like vieja aquí.
You don't want to do it Status 9? It's a good arrest.
Necesito un Uber o voy a tener la policía.
Alright, we're gonna go outside. What's your name?
No, eso es lo que va a pasar.
Nailing, something like that.
What's your first name?
Entonces.
Okay, I've had enough. We're going outside.
Are you touching me?
Let's go outside. We've asked you to leave. Let's go.
Grab your purse.
We're going outside. Let's go.
Are you touching me?
Yes, everyone's asked you to leave. Let's go. Let's go. Time to go outside.
I will pick myself up, but don't touch me.
Okay, let's go outside.
Okay,
We've
let me
asked you
grab
to
my
leave.
purse. Let me grab my purse, but do not
There you
touch me. Okay,
Outside.
but my lip gloss. Like, bro, what the is wrong with you
We've
guys?
asked you to leave. It's time to go. That's okay. All right.
Check on my mouth.
All right. Put your hands behind your back. We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Bro, stop! Stop!
Put your hands behind your back.
No, I'm coming.
Tell you we're resistant to.
No, this isn't resistance.
Okay. And while my video is starting to buffer there, I don't know what happened, but it's a perfect point to actually pause and let's talk about when a person is given a lawful order to do something by an officer. Once again, in Florida, there's a legal requirement to follow the lawful orders of law enforcement officers. Failure to comply can result in serious consequences. All right. There's the Florida statute there, 316.072, the third paragraph. It makes it a second-degree misdemeanor to willfully fail or refuse to comply with any lawful order or direction of a law enforcement officer. All right? So that means she can be hit with up to 60 days in jail or up to 6 months of probation and a fine of up to $500. All right.
This is resisting.
This is not
Stop
resisting.
resisting.
I'm not resisting. I'm literally innocent. I'm innocent.
This would have been super simple and you could have just left. Lock it real quick.
Look at my stuff. Look at my phone. No, this isn't
Stop
innocent.
moving. Stop moving. Stop moving.
What's wrong with you guys? This is my phone.
Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?
My purse, my
No.
stuff. My purse, that's my purse. That's my phone. That's my, what are you guys doing? That's my purse.
What are you
that's my
doing to
phone.
yourself? That's the question.
What the question
You've been drinking a lot today. I don't know what you were drinking, my dear. Pretty strong.
No, I've been drinking.
Hey, miss, do me a favor. Do a sweep on that desk. Make sure it doesn't.
Okay, so the officer said, I don't know what you've been drinking today, but it's pretty strong. I can smell it on your breath. Okay, he obviously is, he's of some sort of Latin descent also. She's going to speak Spanish to him in just a minute. And he's the one that said that my partner does not speak Spanish, so don't speak in Spanish. All right, speak in English. All right, that's what he said earlier.
Nothing else that belongs to her is there.
You know what? You know what, you guys, this whole company,
Just
this
wait
whole
a second,
company's gonna
Barnett.
be
Make sure
sued
nothing else is in there.
by my law. Bro, this whole company's gonna be sued. Come on, take me up, bitch! Take me up, bitch!
There's nothing.
Dale!
Okay.
Dale,
Okay. No, that's
take
it.
me up! But you guys are gonna be sued.
Okay, well, you could have just left like everyone else.
I wanted to leave.
But
Very show one in
wanted
custody.
me to leave. No one wanted me to leave. But guess what? This whole place is gonna be sued. It's gonna be sued.
And, you know, we hate for things like this to happen for anyone because, you know, it's out there forever. It doesn't really go away. And the person has to try to rebuild after these things happen, you know, but all in all, working in the justice system, you know, you really have the opportunity to let people know that, you know, there is life on the other side of dealing with whatever this situation is. These are misdemeanors we mostly have on situations like this. I understand that she was a law student somewhere, and they're going to talk about that. Things happen. Things happen. The Committee on Professional Conduct and all those people, they understand. They're humans also. They understand that certain things happen. Now you might have to do a probationary period and show that you're trying not to have the same things happen again. But otherwise, this young lady will be just fine from this minor incident.
Fuck this place. This whole place is gonna be sued. Fuck this.
Stop moving around.
I don't give a fuck. What? I'm in law school. I have a clean record.
Okay, but like we said, you could have just left.
I wanted to leave. I tried to leave. They wouldn't let me.
It didn't seem like that.
They wouldn't let me.
Other way.
Fuck this place. Take this shit off of me before.
All right. So once again, as I've said before, the street is not the proper place to argue your point with the police officers. All right. Wherever legal point you think you may have, or wherever. Once you're in handcuffs, there's not much you can say to get yourself out of those handcuffs.
They're not coming off. You're going to jail.
You know what? Okay, let me go to fucking jail.
After the suspect is detained, the officer speaks to her mother on the phone while searching her belongings.
Okay.
Okay. We see the officer's body cam here once again. They have Axon Body 3 cameras. This is this officer's number. This is the one I said who's potentially Latin or Hispanic. His last four are 4588. This book here, take a look at what book she has here. And it's kind of a, this is a little bit funny. This is how to win friends and influence people.
No, doña, pero no se preocupe, mira, ella la arrestamos for disorder, intoxication y trespassing. Ya eso es todo.
Okay, I think this may be some kind of alcoholic beverage here that he pulled out. This crush can.
Son cargos menores, no pasa más nada. So mom basically says that she has like mental issues, she's bipolar, and any little drink that she takes, it makes her like that. Any little alcohol. I think that's what she was having. Yeah. So love, how you doing?
Hi, I was wondering.
And I will say that working in the justice system, we have had defendants who have had episodes simply because they either drank something or they ingested some sort of drug that had a reaction with their other medications they're on. And sometimes there have been people who have just had a mental episode from trying meth or something of that nature that wasn't what they thought it was. All right, so you have to be careful out here, and you have to counsel your friends and family of the same thing, to be careful out here and really knowing themselves.
If I can have my purse.
Your purse? No, you're under arrest.
Well, why?
Mama, so look, I just talked to your mom, right? You care about your mom?
Yo quiero saber lo que está pasando.
Tu mamá está preocupada por ti, ¿ok? Entonces, mira, escúchame una cosa. Ya yo hablé con ella. I told your mom that you're going to go to jail. Yeah, I told your mom you're going to go to jail to stay calm and collected because you get for a misdemeanor crime.
I'm in law school, so what?
That has nothing to do with you going to school.
Okay, so
trespassing, resisting, and disorder intoxication.
I'm not trespassing.
Yes, you are.
I worked here.
Okay, look, you can talk to the judge about that, okay?
They told me to come here.
They asked you to leave, we asked you to leave, and you wouldn't leave.
And I left as soon as I got the call.
Typically, I try not to do this, but you gave us no choice. I don't want to take you to jail.
I'm in law school.
I understand that.
I can't go to jail.
But you could have left when I asked you to.
I'm in law school, please.
Why were you drinking? You're at work. What were you doing drinking at work?
Are you supposed to take medication for anything? Your mom told me.
I'm bipolar type 1.
Okay, are you supposed to take medication?
Yeah.
Does that medication mix well with alcohol?
I haven't.
No, right? See?
Why'd you drink this?
I don't know. But please don't ruin my future. I can't go to jail. I'm in law school.
It's only a misdemeanor.
I have a 4.2 GPA. Like, I have over.
Okay, so you've heard her say that she has type 1, she's type 1 bipolar. She takes some medications for it constantly. And the officer was asking her, or does she know that if she takes alcohol, that it can increase the effects of alcohol. Her mom was trying to explain to the officer that she does take medicine for a mental illness, and that if she drinks anything, it makes her act like this. And that's because the medication is increasing and amplifying the effects of the alcohol. All right, we have pulled up here arrest impact on bar admission. Arrest can significantly impact the lawsuit's qualifications for bar admission, and it's character and fitness. I was thinking about. I said professional conduct. That's once you become an attorney, you have to deal with professional conduct and not character and fitness anymore. Character and fitness is just at the point where you're trying to sit for the bar exam in whatever state. And you have to disclose any arrests that you've had in the past. Applicants must disclose any arrests, convictions, or other criminal matters. Failure to disclose can lead to disqualification. That means you won't be able to sit for the bar if you're disqualified. The impact of arrest. Criminal record. And arrest can affect the character and fitness evaluation. Serious charges like felonies are more likely to raise concerns. All right, so felonies are something more likely to raise concern than a misdemeanor. Moral turpitude. Crimes involving moral turpitude, such as fraud or violence, are particularly problematic. Rehabilitation and mitigation. Continuing duty to disclose. Bar admission process. The outcome. The board will decide if the applicant meets the character and fitness standards. This can result in approval, denial, or conditional admission. All right. So, anyone interested in taking the bar exam or going to law school and then taking the bar exam, character and fitness is one of the things you have to worry about passing. There is chances that they can deny a person's request and application, or make you wait a year or 2 years and come back and try again.
Like, look my name up, Nailina Tiaga, Nailina Jacob. I am an associate in paralegal. I don't deserve to go to jail.
The suspect is now removed from the vehicle and a standard search of her person is conducted.
Alright, we're gonna get you out to search you, okay? You gonna cooperate?
Search me, baby. I got nothing on me.
Okay. It's just policy before you go to jail, okay? Turn around, face the car.
I want you to take note that her demeanor and attitude has changed and swung very much from what it was, and see if you find anything worrying.
I'm gonna adjust this cuff when you're done.
Yeah, it hurts really bad.
I'm gonna adjust
I don't feel like there's no pressure in my fingers.
Yep, well.
I don't feel anything, but touch me all you want, baby. Touch me all.
Good?
I can't feel anything in my fingers.
Okay. As a person, if you ever become an officer of the court, meaning you're an attorney, you're a judge, you're any sort of court officer, everyone has a duty to make everyone else aware if they believe someone is not competent to stand trial. Now, in the criminal setting, there are opportunities to request that person be evaluated to make sure that they can be, that they're fit to stand trial and that they had the proper mental requisites before they committed the crime or while they were committing the crime. And they have, in my home jurisdiction, we have the 312 and the 313 examinations that you would request, which would be your fitness to proceed and your criminal culpability evaluations. All right, let's continue.
Well, it would have been a lot easier if you didn't resist. Then they would have gone on like a normal
I wouldn't
so
resist
she doesn't.
if these people were being honest. All I said is that I wanted my mom, and all I said is that I'm okay. I'm not trying to fight you guys. I'm not trying to do anything.
Well, you did though, remember?
Go home. No, I'm just trying to go home, man. I'm just trying to go home.
What's your head going in there?
I'm just trying to go home. I'm just trying to go home.
Trespassing, disorderly intox, and resisting. She's highly intoxicated. Come on, step out.
No, it's just. Oh, just being careful. I don't
They're
want you
not taking
falling.
those
Are you feeling sick in any kind of way?
No.
Gonna hurt yourself or anyone else?
No.
Any car accidents? Us?
No.
Nope, you're not going back in there. You're not going back in there. Come on, come on.
Is my stuff in there?
Come on.
Okay, I'm going with you. You know, I trust you.
Okay.
The suspect is taken to jail and booked on charges of trespassing, disturbing the peace, and resisting arrest.
Do what you gotta do, just tell me why you pull me over.
Listen,
Okay, so we saw one more charge we didn't have, disturbing the peace. Maybe we did get that one already. Let me take a look and see. All right, Florida disturbing the peace. That's disorderly conduct, and that's at 877.03. Examples of disturbing the peace are loud or disruptive argument in public places, public intoxication, being visibly drunk or under the influence of drugs in public, leading to disruptive behavior. So this is the portion that really is getting her. It's the disruptive behavior at someone's job, someone's place of employment, someone's business. All right. Also, the offensive language, using abusive or obscene language in public that is likely to provoke a violent or disorderly response. Physical altercations. All right, this is a second-degree misdemeanor. It carries up to 60 days in jail, up to 6 months of probation, a fine of up to $500. They have some defenses here. First Amendment protections, freedom of speech, assembly, self-defense, and the lack of intent, proving the defendant did not intend to cause the disturbance or that the disturbance was not foreseeable. Now for her, the thing that she has to worry about is if she was going to use this the lack of intent because she was under the influence, then they would examine and see how long has she been using the medication. Has she had this come up before? And all those questions look at whether she knew this would happen, whether she knew this was a foreseeable outcome to using alcohol in conjunction with being on that type of medication. All right. That was a good one. That was, let me give them their shout outs. Everybody is already credited in the comments, and their original videos are also linked there so that you can go and give the creators a view. Let's take a look here. All right, we got our last one here. All right, and this is from the top 10 most disrespectful defendants, part 4. This one is a person whose bond is doubled. All right, and it's for it's for their attitude in court. This is a good learning experience for anyone who's getting ready to go to court, or if a person has a client that's about to go to court, family member. Tell them to keep this in mind. Let's have a listen here at this one. This is in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, I believe.
Next, we're in Louisville, Kentucky for the arraignment of Brandon Lawrence. The 27-year-old was charged with violating a domestic protection order and attempted murder for allegedly nearly beating his uncle to death with a tire iron.
All right, Mr. Lawrence will enter not guilty plea for you today on these charges. Your bond is presently set at $250,000. So I'm gonna... Why are you laughing?
It's unclear whether Lawrence is laughing because he thinks the $250,000 bond is too high or too low. Either way, the judge is unfazed and moves on to discuss a proposed no-contact order that includes the defendant's own mother.
No contact? That's my mother. What does my mother got anything to do with? I ain't done nothing to my mother.
Let's see, maybe she was a witness to this, so
Nobody was around, that's all I'm gonna say.
But as the judge tries to sort out the details of the no-contact order,
It was victim's mother and defendant's
Lawrence interrupts her.
I'm going out of your courtroom.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah.
What did you say?
You can raise the bond, do what you want to. I'm going back to my cell.
Apparently, Lawrence doesn't have the time or patience for something as trivial as an attempted murder charge.
You can raise the bond, do what you want to. I'm going back to my cell.
Who is your attorney, sir?
Grover Cox.
Okay, are you gonna call Mr. Cox on this?
Yep, I sure am.
Okay. All right, so we'll enter not guilty plea.
The loud bang that catches everyone off guard is the sound of Lawrence punching the plexiglass divider as he heads back to his cell.
Okay, so I let that one play pretty much in full because it's a short segment. But did you see how the defendant was acting? And then that last portion where he punched the glass, which is a divider between the judge back there and the prisoners that come in and are having their business handled.
After the outburst, the judge doubles down on Lawrence's original bond of $250,000.
All right, bonds increase to $500,000.
All right, so as you see there in that situation, the judge has the authority to set bond in any and every situation, for any defendant who is currently incarcerated. All right. Now, a person's bond is subject to several different factors. All right. And everything, a bond is put in place to assure that the defendant will appear for court. You heard the charges. He was charged with violating a protective order and attempted murder on a family member. All right. And I think they said it was either his stepfather or his father. So, yes, the bond is going to have certain conditions if a person does have, a cash bond. Here was $250,000. They didn't say whether it was going to be commercial or cash, but usually a bond can be fulfilled by a commercial bail bondsman, and they will then in turn require you to put up 10% of what the bond amount is, and they then will sign a bond certificate assuring that you will appear, and if you fail to appear, they will then be responsible for the bond amount. So in this case, $500,000, and then he will have to bond out by paying at least $50,000 to some bondsman that he does not get back. All right, we have the law pulled up here. It's a Class B felony for attempted murder that carries a minimum of 10 years, a maximum of 20 years in the, what does Kentucky call their prison system? Probably the Kentucky Department of Correction. All right, attempted murder is under the Kentucky Revised Statutes section sign. That's what this sign means. That's a section sign. 506-010. A person is guilty of attempted murder when, with the intent to cause the death of another person, they take a substantial step toward causing that death. Elements of attempted murder: you have intent and you have a substantial step. So the defendant must have the intent to cause the death of another person. And number two, substantial step. The defendant must take a substantial step in a course of conduct planned to culminate in the death of another person. All right. So with that, that's our initial 3 videos. It's 10:30, so we did an hour and 30 minutes. I do have plenty of other videos. I'm just trying to think if I want to start one up. There was another I was looking at here. That one's about 15 minutes. I might deal with that one next time. All right, so with that, I think we are going to end this first live stream. And this is the first episode of Night School. Welcome to Night School, everyone. The comments will be available for you all to discuss these cases. If you have any ideas of cases you would like me to go over and give an explanation on, then hey, I'm open at this point in time. This is all content for your benefit, simply allowing you to get an idea of what an attorney does, all right, on a daily basis. They look at fact patterns, they look at cases, and they look at the law. All right, and if you have an intention to go into this line of work, this is what you do. You can't be afraid to look something up, can't be afraid to file a motion and request certain things on behalf of a client. Briefly, this is called Advocacy Alchemy. And it's because as an advocate for your client and your position, you have to sometimes use alchemy. And alchemy is the process of taking baser elements to create gold. All right, so sometimes you have to take a base argument, one that seems very common, or bring together several common elements and parts of the story to create gold that you would then give over to a jury so that they may find in your favor. All right, as an advocate, that is what you're looking to have happen. You're looking to convince either the jury or the judge that your position is the correct position and the other side is not delivering the correct position. All right, so with that, I am Professor Ross. This is Advocacy Alchemy, and I wish you all a great evening, and there'll be more videos. We'll try to release some daily. With that, everyone have a great evening.